Hello, students of Bedford High. Today is November 11th. More importantly, it is Veterans Day. We take this day to show respect to our veterans. Today we will honor their bravery and contributions to our country. Now, we have a couple of videos we would like to show of some of the veterans that live in our community. Veterans, thank you for your service.
All right, my name is Ortiz and we are here with Mr. Nocella. So Mr. Nocella, when did you serve and for what branch of military?
I was in the Army National Guard from 1990 to 1996.
Okay, what factors influenced your choice of joining the military?
It was something I'd always wanted to do, and it's kind of something that my family did. Both my brothers were in the Army and the Army National Guard, and my father-in-law, and it was a family tradition kind of thing.
Okay. And then what were some of the responsibilities in your role?
I was in charge of phones, really. I answered phones, kind of an operator, and would run different messages. I worked for the command sergeant major of my unit when I was in the National Guard.
All right, and then what does Veterans Day mean to you?
It's just an important day, for everyone that served, that has served, that is still serving. People that have passed in the war, they just come back. It just means, to remember everyone for what they've done and all the serving that they've done for this country.
All right, thank you.
Yes, no problem.
Hello, I'm Donovan Orr, and I'm here with Mr. Avalos, our assistant principal here at Bedford High School. And for Veterans Day, I want to ask him a few questions. So, Mr. Avalos, what branch of the military and what years did you serve?
Well, I served in the Army, and I served from basically 1990 until 1999, and then from 2002 to 2005.
Okay, and what was your biggest influence of joining the U.S. military?
Well, I grew up in the military. My dad was Army, my stepdad was Marine, and I had plenty of lineage that was in the military before that.
Okay, and what was one of your big responsibilities in the role you did in the military?
Well, I had different roles, but the last role I had, I was a combat commander in Iraq. So I was responsible for all my soldiers and their families.
Okay, how do you stay in touch with former members of the military?
In the last couple of years, I stay in touch with about 4 or 5 select personnel that I served with.
Awesome.
And we get together usually 3 times a year at the least.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And what does Veterans Day mean to you?
To me, Veterans Day means a celebration of the active Americans willing to be a part of something bigger than themselves, and not just help out their community and their country, but also help out the world.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Avalos, for your service. We really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
That's it.
Hello, I am Ortiz and we are here with Mr. Shire. So, when did you serve and what branch of military were you in?
I was in the United States Army from 1985 to 1988.
All right, and then why did you choose that branch you enlisted in?
I wanted to travel, and my father was in the military, so I had some, hearing his stories and a sense of adventure and to serve my country and do other things certainly, sounded appealing at 18 years old, and I joined, and it was one of the better decisions of my life.
All right. What was the most enjoyable part of your time in the service?
Certainly be able to travel, but to work as a team and to reach the goals and to serve my country and being part of our mission, whatever it was at the time, and just serving my country and being patriotic.
And then after serving, what was your experience like transitioning back to civilian life?
I also had the Army GI Bill, so after serving, I was planning on going to college, which I did, and certainly the money from that allowed that to happen. Certainly the discipline, the structure, and the duty, and the accountability that you learn in the military certainly allowed me to have success in college and in life, and I still lean on those lessons that I learned from my time, serving to this day.
All right. And then last question, what does Veterans Day mean to you?
It's certainly a time to reflect and to certainly honor those who serve, especially during war, the sacrifices that they put forward to risk everything for the values of our country and their family, and to protect others with the role of serving our country and others. So I think it's a day to just recognize their accomplishments and their service, and to appreciate what they do.
All right, thank you for your service.
Okay.
Also.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Hello, I'm Donovan Orr, and I'm here with Mr. Phillips, who is an English teacher here at Bedford High School. So, Mr. Phillips, what is a factor that influenced you into joining the U.S. military?
I was in college at the time. I was looking for money to help me get through college, and I was always a kid that was interested in the military. So that's how I joined the Michigan Army National Guard.
Okay, and what is the most enjoyable part of your time in service?
Probably just the camaraderie, hanging out with the guys, learning the various skills that we were trained to do. That was probably the best part of it.
Okay, and how did you decide what career you wanted to pursue after military?
How did I, after the military? Basically, well, it's funny because in the military, I was, as a sergeant, I was able to train soldiers in various things, and they kept, as soldiers would come up and say, well, you know what, you did a really nice job teaching me that. So it kind of made me start thinking that I might be a teacher.
Okay, and what would you say to a student who is considering joining the military?
I'd be very encouraging. I have two of my 3 kids are in the military right now. One is in the Army, one is a Navy nurse. I think it's an absolute fantastic opportunity for any young person.
Okay, and what does Veterans Day mean to you?
Veterans Day simply means to take a moment to stop and reflect and think about all the sacrifices that have been made for people. I know, again, like I said, I've got 2 kids in the military. It's kind of a tough time. We're coming up on Thanksgiving, and neither one of them are going to be around for the holidays. So, there's a lot of sacrifice that's involved.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for your service, Mr. Phillips.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ortiz, and we are here with Mr. West, who is a science teacher here at Bedford. So, when did you serve, and for what branch of military did you serve in?
I was in the Army from 1998 to 2005.
Okay, and then what were some of your expectations before joining? How did they match your actual experience?
So that's a tough question, For expectations, you read books, you see movies, but they don't show you everything, right? They're dramatizations. I'd say the reality is a lot more boring. You sat around and did nothing for a lot of time.
All right, thank you. What was the most enjoyable part of your time in the service?
I would say the people that I met. There were lots of different people from all over the country and actually all over the world that I got to interact with. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. How did you decide what career to pursue after service?
Actually, I had an opportunity when I was about to get out of the Army. We call that ETSing, to coach a high school soccer team, and that was on our base. So I did that for a couple months, and I was enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, liked working with students. So then I just started to go into education. Yeah.
All right. And then last question, what would you say to a student who may be considering military service?
You asked me the hardest one. First off, probably join the Air Force, because they treat you like a person there. Secondly, do your research. Talk to a lot of different people. If you just talk to a recruiter, they're gonna tell you one thing, and somebody else who's been in might tell you something totally different. So ask around, get a lot of different perspectives. The military's great for some people. I know people that are still in that have done it 20 plus years and love it. So it's a good option for some people, but just know what you're getting into.
All right, thank you, and thank you for your service.
Of course.